Okay, this is the GotWay ACM 16-inch wheel, 820 watt hours. Charging block. Nicely wrapped up. Straight away you can feel it's got a lovely case to it. You've got like a tactile finish to it. Different material here, different material here. Do some close-ups. Serial number, as always, keep that. You need that. You can get it when you log in with the app anyway. Charge port on the back. Little USB port again, always brilliant. Power on, and a front light. Turn it on. Lovely. Look at that. And the battery status on this one, unlike the MCM, is actually on the rear, by the looks of it, to me. Different foot plates, so they haven't got the rubber as well. It's just grippy tape, as they call it, like skateboard tape. Nice soft side pads, and pretty pleasant on the eye. Let's try it. These things always need more air in it when you've got them first out of the box, but unless you bought it from us, because we pump them up. Feels nice. Oh, it's jumpable. It is jumpable. Oh, yep. Obviously, with 820 watt hour, it's the biggest battery you can get for it, so it puts it on the heavy side. These fold up nicely. Don't see any damage on the side here from where they close up. It's got a nice bit of soft padding there, which is only soft, not to only to the touch. It wouldn't help you in comfort, but it stops it damaging it. It's got like a protective little cover there, which is cool. That label can come off once you've read it. Right, going to pump the tyre up there first to its optimum pressure. Pump the tyre up, Bruce. Pump the tyre up! So, here it is. That's what it looks like. It's a nice soft pad there. To get to the valve, and that one. Wouldn't advise using electric. So, and this little cover will just come straight off, giving you full access to it. Okay, there's a tyre size, 16 by 2.125, and tyre pressure is 35 to 45 psi maximum. So I'm going to pump it up to 45. That's all done, so there was 22 psi in it. That's straight out of the box, and there's the tyre tread. Boom, lovely. Worth noting with this, when you put it in, they're hooked, as you can see. So you put it back up and under. If I can do this one-handed. Back up and under with that method, rather than trying to place it straight on top. And the 820 watt hour is 16.71. Now with this one you can log in, so the ACM you can log into, and you can see the battery isn't coming enough to do a speed test. And as soon as you start pushing it, it's down to 20, so the alarm will cut in. But this one you can connect with the 2.0 app at the time recording to open up all the features available to you on the M Super. That's how it opens up, and then you've got these basically drop-down menus. You say alarm setting, you can close that back again, calibration setting, tilt foot up. So that's the tilt back of the actual unit. And you've got up to 48 kilometers an hour, which is completely crazy. So you can turn it off within that setting. You've also got alarm settings, so you can close the first alarm, second alarm, all those functionalities you can turn it all off. GotWay's advice is don't mess about with the alarms, don't mess about with the tilt back for safest possible riding. If you want to open yourself up to possible board shut off or whatever, then turn all that off and go the maximum speed, which I would not advise at all. for obvious reasons. Okay, so that's lights. Let's have a look. Turn lights on, off, so you can remote turn on the light. So if I say turn on, there it is. Turn off, there you go. Easy as that. So need to put this on charge. It's important with the GotWays to make sure it's on before you plug it in, unless you want a spark. But she's on charge. No issues with that. So the charge port's good. Right, heading out on the first stage of this outdoor review. It's fully charged now, 100%, and I'm really liking this very solid design here. I mean, it would scratch up, but it is just, you know, if you come off it, it'll scratch up, but otherwise it's very rugged. I'm liking that a lot. So let's see how this goes. So in terms of off-road, handles it perfectly fine. Probably expect, no reason not to. I mean, we're out on the trails, fire trails, got a bit of rocky bits, no issues at all. I got the pressure up as high as it'll go, which you probably want to bring it down a bit, but I merely get it to the maximum pressure because that way you get the most mileage out of it you can. But it's handling it fine. As I say, this sits in between a 14-inch and an 18-inch, so it's a 16-inch wheel. The 18-inch is the ultimate really for rough ground. Bigger the diameter, the smoother your ride. But this sits nicely in the middle, so it's more compact. And it's handling it very well. Okay, we've done 6 miles and it's on 80% battery still, which is pretty awesome. And actually, not a mark on it so far, not in a bit of mud. And it's quite nice, that comes down enough. You do get a little tiny bit up there, but it comes down quite low to stop the mud spraying up. It comes down equal that side as well, so all good. And these haven't taken any impacts yet. Right, so this is a bit of an old dippy, as you may see.
I can see one.
Demonstrating. I'm going to just test how agile it is at speed and hop over this. Something you might have to frequently do. Obviously when it rains it'd be a big puddle. Okay, as you saw, no issue at all. It's very agile. Even though it's got the 820 battery in it, despite that weight, you can still hop over stuff and continue on your way without any slowdown because it's so big and heavy. So nice and agile, very good. I like it a lot. The firmware is really stable. So down rough terrain, it's perfect. Going uphill, loads of power. Rides really well. It's a bit like the M Super, but a smaller diameter wheel. So say more stability, bigger the wheel. So this fits in about middle category between a 14 and 18. So you get the best of both worlds almost. But so far, liking it. Very good. Woo! Even done reverse. Now with the app you can go to settings, briefly touched upon, and the tilt back speed you can change. So you may be able to see that there, if I can sort of show it whilst riding along. Anyway, it goes up to closed tilt up, which is GotWay themselves do not recommend at all. You can adjust these settings. So these devices will do fairly incredible top speeds, but with massively increased risks of a shut off the higher up you go and the higher up you turn on or off the restrictions. So I've set this, I think, at 39 kilometers an hour. Let's just set it at 48 for the purpose of the test. I'm not going to turn it off because that's just stupid. At home now we're at 50% battery. One thing we can do is see how fast that then goes. here we are. So we got the beeps there, the 4 beeps, so the beeps that you should heed, the warning basically. You can turn those beeps off, but I'm not going to. I'm going to refuse to turn those beeps off. That's at the point where you're basically running at critical speed and chance of a failure is high. But it'll travel at this speed, just below 35, no problems at all. Part of the issue as well, when you're putting pressure on, if you can still hear me, is that you can see the battery dipping into the red. Slow it down a bit. So when the battery dips into the red, of course, it beeps at you for low battery, whereas as you can see now it's at 50%. If I push it, put strain on the unit, you can see the red dropping in. So that's, some of the beeping is due to that, and some of it is due to the hitting the high speed. But that is, you know, it's very, very stable at that speed. Very stable. It's not struggling. It's absolutely fine. But that is a speed that if you come off or it fails, oh look, a squirrel carrying a conker. If you come off at that speed, then you're going to do yourself some serious injury. And it is almost like, keeping on about it, like the moaning Mini, but you're not at all, because there's very serious consequence for going too fast. These machines will shut off, not GotWays, but any electric unicycle that allows you to take it up to its maximum speed has got the risk of it shutting off, either from going too fast, a motor overrun, so it just boop, shuts off, and there's no warning, you just boop, off, slammed into the ground. Now, you'll be lucky to roll out of it at that speed and not come away with an injury. So that's just a word of warning. Last time I'm going to mention it in this video, but be ridiculously careful, don't turn off these things. Now the people that do turn them off are the people that have never had an accident. The people that have an accident never go that fast ever again and ride sensibly for the rest of their life when they ride an electric unicycle. It's always the same. And a lot of you are sensible, so, you know, there's a mix of people. Right, so this is very, very stable. Very good. Very enjoying it at the moment, in fact. A good thing with the MCM, so the 14-inch model, was that you could look down and see your battery status, whereas with this, it's on the back, but only on the back if you come to a stop and then stand still. Then you've got a vague idea of where you're at with the battery status. I think I kind of miss these rubber pads as well. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but something I can't really comment on because I don't know if it lasts or not. But it'd be nice to have the rubber grips on there as well as this nice strong grip, a bit like the M Super grip, the foot plates really. But it's holding up nicely where my foot's been for the last couple of hours, because we went on a very slow ride initially. There's no wear, it's very good material. Scratch, sort of, you know, scuff resistant and, you know, not crash resistant, but it's a good material. Let's continue on this test. I've done 9.5 miles so far, about 50% battery. Starting to hit its 20% mark now when you try and push it. You know, not going too quick. Comes to a stop fairly quickly. A little bit lax on the braking front, but not too bad either. So I'm actually heading back. I'm 15.5 miles in, probably 5 miles out from home. So this is going to be interesting. But anyway, up hills, such places like this, it's starting to beep at me now. A little bit worrying to get home, but I'm kind of hoping it's going to do, yeah, see, I'm not pushing it hardly at all now. It's going quite slow. Hopefully, I should be able to accomplish 20 miles on it, which should get me back home. Ooh, that's a nice structure. Stained glass window. And of all the places, I'm actually in the middle of absolutely nowhere. As you do. So let's just check the battery status. Okay, at standstill it's showing 20%, so it definitely is 20%. There you can see the total run time, and that's the total distance. It's quite a long run time because we went out say, on a slow cycle ride with a 3-year-old. So, but the last, I set off about 9 miles, something like that, and the rest of it's been done quite quickly. So 17.87. Yup. Okay, I'm getting readouts of 0 and 10 as soon as I put a bit of power on, and it's been beeping now for blooming ages. Seeing as I'm riding on very bumpy ground, seems a good time to talk about leg support covers, or leg support covers, leg support pads, whatever you want to call them. They sit quite nicely. I'm not getting anything digging in, none of the plastic panelling's digging in. They're sat and positioned just right. With the M Super, the 18-inch, it comes up a lot higher, and so you lose that very fine movement you can do. It's great to thump along, whereas this gives you that fine movement. It's a different riding style for both of them. So you get a lot more, I don't know if I can demonstrate it, but you get a lot more, you can do more of that. So tight twists, turns, etc. I'm at a V. Where do I go? And I've got a low battery. So yeah, that is a nice position, and it's nice and soft as well. And it works and does its job, and I haven't had any pain. So that's good. Haven't really had much pain in the arches of my foot either. So that's not bad. Nothing is rattling, and nothing seems wrong with it. It seems very strong and sturdy. Then high-pitched noise is nowhere near as bad as the M Super. It's obviously not quite as powerful as that, but it's close to it, very close. The tyre on this is not as grippy as the M Super. Not on the sidewall of it. It's more of a cross trail tyre, shall we say. And this slippy mud that I'm going through now is interesting to ride in. Oh, look at all those roots. Wow. Right, I've got to film that, haven't I? I'll put it on the little mini tripod I got and see if I can actually ride across that. Now remember, this has got a low battery, so anything could happen. Let's give it a go. Okay, no longer lost. Know where I am. 18.5 miles in. And we're going to see if we can get home. Probably got another, probably a mile-ish. And you can see the sort of speed I can do before it starts beeping. Hardly any. Crossing a busy main road. This is fun. Especially on this road. Not a nice road. Okay, and obviously I'm going to have a monumental hill to climb just before I get home. Excellent. Real pleased with that. Hopefully it'll get me up it. Okay, it's stationary after going up that steep hill. It says 20%. But obviously as soon as you move, so if you go up again, it's 0%. But it stays still, 20%. So you can do 20 miles, which is pretty good. 20 miles, I mean, that's a lot of riding. Okay, she has performed extremely well. Very, very impressed with it. Tyre did handle well, as I say, it is a fairly aggressive tyre, but you notice the difference between a 16-inch and an 18-inch, especially through the trails. But this is it's so nicely built. There's nothing really sticking out apart from that charge port. It's really sticking out that it's going to get in the way or get damaged. It's just a good design, and it's fairly pleasing to the eye. Oh, hello. Do you want to interrupt the video? Basically, with this one, it comes in 2 battery sizes. You can get the 680 watt hour and the 820 watt hour. So you need to actually decide whether or not you want the slightly more weight to get the extra distance, or you're happy with having a bit less distance, saving weight. But another important factor, charge time. So with the 680, you're still going to be getting a good, probably anywhere between 12 and 15 miles out of this unit anyway. This will give you the extra. So you can decide from there. The charge time is about 5.5 hours for the 680. but you see about a 7-hour charge time for the 820. So that's, you know, you've used it that day, you don't need to put it on charge overnight really. So yeah, so you can decide from that, but otherwise the specs are exactly the same, which is the beauty of it really. It's the same with the MCM. You've got a whole plethora of battery options, but the specifications in terms of top speed and power are all exactly the same, just different watt-hour options, which is pretty sweet. So 2 versions available for that one. You can take your pick basically. It's gonna be put on charge now and wait 7 hours to use it again. But luckily, I've got an M Super V3 sat in the car waiting to go, all fully charged. So who does this wheel suit, really is the question. And I think the answer will be anyone that's had a 9.1 could transition straight onto this same wheel size. A heck of a lot more power and speed and range is built into it. Just different looks. If you like the look of this, which I can't see it as an offensive look at all, it's nice. It's not like the M Super where it's square and you've kind of got to get used to it. This is just pleasing to the eye straight away. The advantage of having the USB port and the front light is a brilliant little touch. It would be nice if the battery status could also be displayed here somehow, or would be displayed here, just so you can look down. That look down is really useful to get a general idea of where you are without getting the app out. But otherwise, got brake light as well. It's sort of again GotWay have done it again with the fact that it's an all-in-one package. You just take it out and you just use it, and you don't need to take anything else with you. You don't need to take extra batteries because the range is there. You don't need to take torches or anything like that because you've got the headlights all built in. Press a button or use the app remotely to switch it on. I mean, it's pretty simple. Software, stroke firmware, works really well. It's nice and stable. You've seen me go over those routes. Even on a low battery, it didn't kick out or do anything strange. It seemed to handle it. Yeah, I'm impressed with this unit. It's a really good unit, and it's solid as well. It's built solid. And a lot of customers, stroke riders, report that it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it's a thumbs up. Haven't come across any issues with it really. It's just whether this size wheel will suit you for what you're trying to do. And I would say that this will fill most of the roles that the 9.1 does with that little bit of added extra. So, you know, the 820 is obviously heavier, so you're not going to jump up so high. So if you're tricking it, I would say go for the, it's a difficult one really. If you're tricking it, you need to go for a lower weight electric unicycle, whether it's the 680 or a completely different make. That's up to you to decide. But you can hop them. I've hopped them down curbs, no problem at all. Over those routes, no issues. Just well solid. At speed, it's really solid as well. So it's just a thumbs up basically from me. Haven't come across any issues with it at all. No niggles. The only thing, if you want to be real picky again, that's just clunky. But that is really trying to scratch your head and work out of anything that's wrong. It just works well. And this rugged thing, I think I've mentioned it a couple of times now, I quite like that. It's just brilliant because it's going to get knocked about. I mean, even leaning against a wall, unless you get it exactly right where the pad sits and it cushions it, which is nice that you can actually do that. You lean against a wall and it's stable. Poke it and it's not falling over, even though it's off. But eventually, you will lean it against something wrong or a slip forward. If it slips forward, it hits that rusticy ABS plastic. So that's pretty neat. Awesome. We'll leave it there, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, please like and subscribe. These will be going up on our website, of course, because they are awesome.